Hi, welcome back to England Rugby Analyst. It's been a while, but the Six Nations is upon us, and this is the first video of England versus Scotland. Now, I'm recording this on the Friday, so I don't know the result, because what I'm going to do is do a prediction video, a short one before I actually analyse the game. So I'm going to go out on a limb and actually predict who's going to win and why. And down below, this is my new method of predicting the game. We're going to see if it works or not. What I'd really like you to do is subscribe and comment on this system and tell me how bad it is or how good it is or how you change it, or come up with your own and make your own predictions for the next game. And then I'll do the same and we'll see who's closest. Back row is interesting. It's similar on scores. In fact, it's pretty much the same. But England edging it slightly just because I think they're more physical, stronger. Even though, yes, Scotland have got the specialist 7, I think England's strength and power may be too much for them. I'm expecting England to play tightish to start with for sure. It's come out 1 point to England. That was completely random. I didn't add it up as I went. So my prediction is England win by 1 point. Let's see if I'm right. So hello, welcome back. It's Monday and I got my prediction kind of right, I suppose. England won, not by 1 point but by 6 points, so that's even better. Basically, it kind of played out a little bit like I said in the prediction show, where England outpowered Scotland. Scotland made too many mistakes. And when England were bringing on subs like Mako Vunipola and Courtney Laws, I think it was just too much really for the Scots in the end. So I think England deserved to win. It wasn't a classic, but fantastic to get off to a win. With Ireland and Wales mucking each other up, even better. It would have been perfect if Italy had beaten France, but they didn't. But I didn't see anything particularly dangerous about Italy or France, so I'm not particularly worried about them. But Wales should have won that game, so they mucked themselves up there really. So great news for England. They've got a really good chance now of actually winning this thing, which is crazy. So really, I think I see a little bit of an English style developing. A very powerful pack, quick backs. Yeah, the interplay wasn't quite there, but I'm kind of seeing where this is going. First game for Eddie Jones. I think he's just happy with the win. Look, there's a massive balance problem. I think that there's no denying that the back row, like I mentioned, was powerful, but I don't think any turnovers. I mean, Billy Vunipola nearly got a turnover. He got good body position, but he's the big ball carrying number 8. Rob Shaw and Haskell got nowhere near a turnover. We need a player like Hardy for Scotland, or any of the Welsh 7s would do fine, but we really got to find that. I just think you're not going to beat Wales, you're not going to beat the Southern Hemisphere teams with that back row. Haskell played well. It's not his fault he was playing 7. He probably played the better of the 2. Haskell's more obvious, isn't he? Big ball carrying, carries it really upright actually. Haskell's body position's really upright, and when he hits the opposition, he basically explodes them like a grenade and they get scattered everywhere. So you lose a couple of defenders out of the line, which works really well when he's going forward and he wins the contact. But when he loses that contact, he can get knocked back, and it stunts the flow of the attack. Actually, Vunipola actually went straight over the top. Body position over the top of the tacklers, always getting beyond the gain line. Fantastic, probably the best performance of a number 8 I've seen from England since Delalio, I reckon. But yeah, for Italy, I'd probably put Clifford in. Take Rob Shaw out, put Haskell to 6 and Clifford to 7. Not that I think Clifford is probably England's long-term 7. He might be, but everyone thinks he's going to be an 8 or a 6. But we just need to do something if we want to progress, win the championship maybe. You need someone who's going to get to that breakdown quicker and turn over ball. I'm not overly sure if it is Clifford, but I think it's worth a go. Certainly against Italy, it's the perfect time to do it. Now, the other balance problem is in the England backline. They've got no ball-carrying threat in that backline at all. I mean, they've all got quick feet, but they're not big guys. I mean, Farrell, I thought, did really well to get over the gain line when he did, but there's no one, if the going gets rough, to take you over the gain line. What England have done, as you'll see in these pictures, is that they use a forward to go over the gain line, which makes sense. So in this situation, you've got a line out, 6-man line out, go off the top very nicely, forward hits Vunipola outside him, straight into the 10, into Russell, into the 10. For Scotland, I don't know what they were playing at. Their man was out there, Ross Ford, big lad, and they lined him up inside their 10, rather than opposite Vunipola, which is the obvious choice. So Ford gets nowhere near the tackle, lets the 10 take the tackle, then he's slow off the line anyway, so he gets nowhere near the ruck either. So that was just silly from Scotland. But it showed how England got over their lack of midfield ball carriers, whereas Wales are hitting up Roberts or Davis up the middle. A little bit easier for them. Or the other thing that England did is using Jack Noel or someone like that to come in tight off a ruck or a scrum, use their feet to get over the gain line rather than their size, just so they can start the phases going. Although I just think that's covering up a deficiency really, and they could get caught out. I mean, they did well to get over it, but without a big guy in the back line, they may well struggle. Okay, very quickly, player by player scores. Here's the starting front row. Hartley played well, for sure. His line-out throwing was good. Excellent, actually. His scrummaging was good. Around the park, he doesn't give a huge amount, to be honest. Nowhere near Tom Youngs or Jamie George, but I guess that wasn't the point. That wasn't why he was there. I just feel a little uneasy that if England are going to be a dominant team, beat the likes of Wales, then they've just got to start Jamie George. That means dropping your captain, but I don't think Eddie Jones will have too much of a problem with that. But it just doesn't quite sit easy with me. But fair play, Hartley did the best he could have done. Cole did okay. Marler, again, doesn't give you a huge amount of skill around the park. Mako Vunipola was so much better coming on. Really hope that Mako starts against Italy. And I guess you've got to start with your captain again at hooker, even though I'd go for George, probably. Second row was the area where I thought England would have a load of strength, and I was right. Scotland, second rows, didn't do so well. I mean, Richie Gray falling off that tackle for George Cruz's try was pretty awful, really. So England's second rows came out on top there, and they could bring on Courtney Laws as a sub. What a great impact sub that was. Brilliant from the second rows. You'll see their scores there. Back rows played well, like I mentioned that already, but the balance is all wrong. So I'm not going to knock their scores down for having the wrong balance, but definitely all wrong. I've given Billy a 10, why not? Because he was awesome. I mean, he was getting over the gain line all the time. Scots had no answer to it. Absolutely no answer at all. Now, at scrum half, Danny Kerr I thought was excellent. His speed of pass was brilliant, and when he broke off from the ruck to suck defenders in, he did it really sharp. He didn't have a chance to make any particular runs himself, but sometimes that doesn't happen. I generally thought he was confident and sharp and great, so I've given him an 8. But when Ben Youngs came on, he slowed down. Some commentators and media people were saying, oh, he did really well, he sped the game up, added impetus. He didn't at all. He slowed it right down. He ambled off from the ruck when he was sucking people in. I don't know why, because he's such a fast guy, but he really was just so slow. And he gave an interception pass to Russell, which could have lost England the match. And he gave another hospital ball, because he breaks up from the ruck, lets the defensive line come up. Kerr's got to start, and I wouldn't have taken him off. I don't quite know why he came off so early. So hopefully he starts and carries on for more of the game next time. Now at 10... George Ford, I gave a 5, just because he was a bit nondescript, really. It's tricky. He's low on confidence. It's obvious because his club side's playing so badly. But he's playing for England here. This is his chance to start as England fly half, and he looked nervous. He's got to be confident in his own ability, not confident in what his team has done. And with Farrell doing all the kicking, rightly so, to touch and to goal, he's got to be right on the money, and he wasn't really. And because he's small, he's always going to be at a disadvantage, and he got in trouble a couple of times for that, and that's going to happen, but he has to make up for it for being super confident and controlling the game. So I think he's in trouble, really. It probably would have been better to have someone like Cipriani playing 10 as more of a running threat there, because Ford I thought was just a bit of a loose part, really. I didn't quite see where he fitted into that team. I mentioned Farrell did really well, as good as he could have done. A bit silly at times, but very committed, very strong. He's going to stay there for a while. I can't see Devoto or anyone getting a start over him. Joseph was quiet, didn't think he did anything wrong. He actually defended pretty well, so probably start him again, although I wouldn't have a problem with starting Elliot Daly in at 13 either. Back three were fine. I mean, Brown was solid, Watson looked dangerous if didn't do much, and Noel took his try fantastically well. I've been a little critical of Noel as a winger just because his straight line speed, maybe over 40 metres, isn't that great. He will get caught if he does a breakaway, but over 20 metres accelerating, clearly he's electric and his feet are great. So, you know, in that situation he was brilliant. Okay, and England need to improve their skill level, more offloads. I mean, there were hardly any offloads. I think one for England, something like that. The flair displayed by Mako Vunipola for the try was brilliant. They need to incorporate more of that in and around that dominant set piece. So I can see where it's going. It's a good start. What I'd like you to do, guys, is comment on anything I've said, obviously. Subscribe as well. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed so far. There's been quite a few since the World Cup. And on Thursday, when the teams come out for England-Italy, please put your predictions down, okay? I'll predict again before the game, predict who's going to win and by how much, and show me the method that you did it. That'll be interesting. So, good start for England. They've got a chance, but we shall see next week against Italy. And until then, enjoy your rugby, and I'll see you soon.